little aloha in our day. Spread a little aloha around the world. At breakfast with Bob.
Thank you, Poncho Man. My name is Bob Babbitt. Welcome back to Breakfast with Bob, Not Quite Kona edition. We are brought to you by Hoka Ona One Master Spas, Clash Endurance USA, UCAN, Hyper Ice, Premium Plus Sports, Smart Swim Goggles, and of course, our Challenge Athletes Foundation, which has sent out 3,038 grants, totaling $5.1 million to keep Challenge Athletes in the game of life through sport. We are chatting about Clash Watkins Glen coming up. We have two triathlon legends with us, Meredith Kessler, and of course, Mr. Andrew Starykowicz. How are both of you guys doing?
We're great, Bob. Thanks so much for having us.
No
I'm good.
problem.
I'm good.
And of course,
pleasure to be here.
we also have our race director, Mr. Andre Lapar. So, Andre, let's start with you. Clash Watkins Glen. I know that you're sitting next to a pretty cool trophy. And what's that trophy going to be for?
Okay, so we came up with a pretty cool concept for Watkins Glen, taking a little page out of NASCAR, the Cup Series, and just racing history. So we had a cup made that will be the Watkins Glen Club Championship. So the Tri Club that comes up there and scores the highest amount of points for their club in this first year of Watkins Glen coming up in July of 2022, they will have naming rights to the cup. So if it's won by, say, the Brooklyn Tri Club or, the Mad Dogs, St. Pete Mad Dogs Tri Club, let's name your club. Whoever wins it the first year, that cup will be forever called the
Tri Club of San Diego.
Championship.
Yeah, we like it.
And then every other year, we're going to add the clubs that win to the subsequent years. But we're going to have some fun with it. I mean, it just goes, the club aspect goes hand in hand with the event, which we'll get into some of those logistics. But figure I might as well show this beauty off here first off.
Love to see it. Little unveiling. Wow. Being a NASCAR guy, Andrew, that looks pretty sweet, huh?
I think I might start competing for a club.
You might have to go amateur. That would be a pretty cool thing. And we're talking Watkins Glen, July 8th through 10th, 2022, obviously. And a lot of people consider Watkins Glen America's best NASCAR track. What do you Andrew, is a NASCAR fan, what do you think?
I mean, for road courses, I would say it's definitely, I mean, as a true road course, you got Road America with strong history up in Wisconsin. And then, I mean, other than that, you got Laguna Seca in California, which is a dedicated road course. And then I'd say in the East, it's definitely Watkins Glen. It's unrivaled history. That track is, when I got to go up there for the first time, I mean, we talk elevation change on a track. That track has elevation change. For everybody that thinks they're going to go to Watkins Glen and have a Daytona or Miami type experience, you will be buying a new cassette at the local bike shop that race weekend. So that course is nothing flat. It's nothing fast. It's going to take some grinding. It's going to take some power. You're going to take a lot out of a lot of people that go there.
Meredith, what did you think of the course?
Well, like Starkey, I have been to Clash Daytona, Clash Miami, and now Clash Watkins Glen. And someone like me who's not very technical, Miami threw me for a loop. And then Clash Daytona, I go round and round, no problem. But Clash Watkins Glen is where I thrive because I need those hills, and to get the hill every single loop makes my heart sing. So I was very pleased with it. I love the concept of it. I love the festival weekend we'll be having there that weekend. I think it's going to set a lot of triathletes up for success, but like Starkey said, they just have to be prepared that it's not going to be your flat and fast NASCAR track.
Hey, and so Andre, this is also part of the wine festival. It sounds like this is like a little bit of a 3-ring circus that weekend.
Oh, it's going to be great. We're actually really excited about that. The Finger Lakes Wine Festival is hosted and operated inside the Watkins Glen International Speedway. And that's one of the largest wine festivals in the country. They get about 25,000 people there over the course of the weekend. 90 plus wineries, live music. That's all on the infield of the Speedway. So we're going to finish triathlon long distance race into that wine festival. So athletes with their athlete wristband are going to have access to that wine fest. RV camping on site. It really offers something for everybody. The wine fest is a cool addition, but that region is just, with the amount of hikes, parks, waterfalls, lakes. I mean, there's a ton to do in the outdoor space there that really checks the boxes for a lot of families.
So distances: 1.2 swim, 50-mile bike, 10-mile run. Is that the setup?
That is correct. And we've gotten some questions from people on that. Is why is it only 50 and 10, and why not the 56 and 13? And me, for years and years, designed courses that you'd draw up a beautiful 52-mile course, and then you'd have to do some kind of squirrely out and back little loop to get to the 56 on the nose or the 13.1. And kind of taking the NASCAR piece is, you have speedways, super speedways, road courses. They all have varying distances.
Yeah.
But the distance is associated with the location. So we came up with a beautiful 50-mile course that rides like 56. It's hard. And the road surfaces are pristine. That lands you right into the Speedway. I think it's 49.98 miles. So 50 miles right to the dismount line, and then a hard 10-mile run in and around the Speedway complex. As Andre and Meredith said, I mean, there's elevation changes, the ups, the downs, the lefts, rights. It's not for the faint of heart.
Let's not forget the beginning part of the bike also, right?
What's
nothing
that,
like
Meredith?
starting a 50-mile ride with a 4-mile climb out of town.
To climb up to the Speedway, Bob, you literally climb 4 miles just to get to the Speedway. And then once you're in Watkins Glen Speedway, you continue to climb each loop. So yes, bring it. So you're going to want that to be more like 40 miles anyways. So
Andre,
I guess that we'll clarify that. That's the age groupers are racing a course that's not entirely in the Speedway. They race out through the county, through the vineyards, through the farms. I mean, beautiful countryside riding, 2-lane, nicely paved roads, quiet roads, go through the Sugar Hill State Forest. It's a really nice ride that ends in the Speedway. The pros will be racing a different format where they'll ride up to the Speedway and do laps of the Speedway on the backdrop of the wine festival going on. So we're going to have some premier viewing areas for people that are enjoying Wine Fest who might have never seen a triathlon, and they'll have athletes like Meredith and Starkey just buzzing by them, suffering on that climb coming up past the Jack Daniels Club.
I remember
they'll
when
be so tipsy that they'll sign up for the following year. So it'll be perfect.
And will the pros be racing different day than the age groupers?
Yes. So the age groupers will race on Saturday,
Okay.
which allows them to finish their race, enjoy Wine Fest Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, spend the night, and then the pros will be racing the next day mid-morning, again into the backdrop of the Wine Fest, which goes on Saturday and Sunday.
So, Andre, you've put on events all over the world, but a lot in in South America and Latin America. What have you gained over the years? Because you got into the sport when you were 18 years old or something, and you've been doing this a long time. What makes this race special, and what attracted you to the whole idea of Clash Endurance USA?
I actually connected with Bill at an event I managed down in Lima, Peru. And we just kind of hit it off. We stayed in touch, and just giving a different venue for endurance sports. It's always hard work to close roads, cause traffic, inconvenience communities, parking. I mean, there's a whole litany of things as a race director that you need to take care of to make sure it's an enjoyable event for the athletes and has minimal impact on the local community that's not participating.
Right.
So these venues allow us to do a lot of that. Parking, I mean, the NASCAR facilities are used to hosting over 100,000 people, so parking's never an issue. A lot of them are kind of out in more open space where we're able to get out to those quiet roads, which triathlon used to be out in the middle of nowhere on quiet roads, and then the pendulum swung and it was, let's go into the big cities, the major markets, and which has attractions for the athletes with lodging and things to do. But I think we need to correct as an industry back the other way to make the courses and the event experience the focus rather than the specific destination and the hotels and the 5-star restaurants you can eat at. There's plenty of those things on offer in Watkins Glen, but the race venue itself is just removed enough where we really tick the boxes on swim, bike, run first. secondarily ticking the box of wine festival, a beautiful region to visit. So we're balancing those two.
Right.
And there'll be cars on track on Saturday morning. So that for me, being the petrol head, I'm set there.
Wait, talk about that. There's cars on the track?
On Saturday morning, prior to the age groupers getting to the track. I mean, it's an active racetrack. There's 390 or 350 days a year. There's cars on tracks. So there's always going to be a little bit of cars before, after the professionals, and before the age groupers. So I mean, you'll be able to see some classic automotive cars from through the history of racing.
It's historic F1 cars will be racing that morning on the speedway.
Wow.
And for those that don't know, after World War II, the first auto race held in the world post World War II was in Watkins Glen, the F1 that they used to race through downtown. They used to race through the gorge of the state park. I mean, it was an insane loop that they did 6 miles up and down the hills, over the train tracks. I mean, it has very storied racing history in Watkins Glen. So we're happy to be able to add to that with a two-wheeled form of racing.
So, Andrew, does this course fit you? Does this suit you well?
No.
Because there's climbing. What the hell?
We saw me climbing Nice a few years ago, and compared to some of these skinny guys, I do not climb well. I'm good at false flats, but this is legit climbing. I think I'm gonna be able to carry my speed well through parts of the course, but I'm going to be able to go there. I'm going to be able to talk my wife into going because of the wine festival, and I think it might be a husband and wife weekend. And I know I'm really looking forward to doing the race. The lake is incredible. It's clear. You can see 40 feet deep plus. You get out on the roads. The roads are incredible. You climb. The climbs are fun. It's rolling countryside, absolutely beautiful. And then, the run on the racetrack is going to be brutal. People are like, and that is one of my conversations with Andre people are going to comment all the way up until the race about the run being 10 miles. And then when they finish it, they're going to be like, thank God it was only 10 miles.
Andre, what type of elevation are we talking in terms of elevation gain and loss during this thing?
I'd have to look back to my numbers. We just posted the bike course maps online, but it is the first 4 miles are steady uphill. I think it's I'm not gonna misquote numbers. I've got all those Google Earth files and KMZ files on my computer. So
not a problem. And if people want to sign up to clash-usa.com and
that's correct.
/clash-Watkins Glen, you can get it right there. I like it. And do you see, this is obviously a destination. People should be coming in on probably Wednesday, Thursday of race week and doing other things around this. What are some of your recommendations of things for people to do when they're not racing?
Well, and it depending on who the person is, right? Families, the amount of hikes in the region and state parks, the waterfalls there right in Watkins Glen. I mean, there's some amazing scenery to see within 15 minutes of town. Those who are interested in doing kind of farm to table dining, there's some of that available. The wine trail, the Finger Lakes of New York, they're skinny like fingers, right? And Lake Seneca is the largest and deepest of those glacial lakes up there. There are wineries on either side. You can do the wine trail on the east coast or the west coast of the lake, just enjoying some of the scenery of the countryside. Water sports there at the lake, if you're jet skiing, tubing, swimming. So it really depends on the athletes and what they want to do. Camping up there. RVs, as I said, is going to be a huge part of this. The RV piece is something that endurance sports really will adapt well to. It's inherent with NASCAR racing that the RV spots are the bee's knees. That's where you want to be. But if you think about it, as an endurance athlete, you stay in an RV on site, you don't have to worry about getting up early race morning and trying to find where you're going to park. You don't have to wait in line for a porta potty. You got an air-conditioned porta potty in your RV. You're going to be staying, in a lot of these cases, within 200 yards of the swim start and the transition and the finish line. And then, your family, your loved ones have somewhere to get out of the heat or, pop in, have a snack. And then who doesn't want to cross the finish line, have a cold one, and then have a place 50 feet away where you can go take a nap. I mean, it checks so many boxes for the endurance athletes, and just the social aspect. With the club piece up there, being able to camp out with your club mates, have the bonfire, actually have comfortable accommodations, because I don't know the last time you've stayed in an RV, but there's some very nice units, and there's budgets that, for the younger triathletes, the college clubs coming out, you can rent units that are more affordable. And then for those athletes who are just looking to be lavish and comfortable and AC and big flat screen TVs, you can find RV units that run the gamut from one end to the other.
I love it. And that trophy, that is pretty amazing. So that will that stay? Does the club just get photos with it, or they get a replica to take with them? What happens?
So we'll have a smaller size replica made up on an annual basis for the club that wins, but we're going to have to babysit the big dog, whether that's housed up at Watkins Glen International at the Speedway, or whether we keep it here in Daytona at our office. That still remains to be determined where its resting place will be, but it's naming rights for the first year, I think, is bragging rights for a club that it won't go away, right? The name, once it's engraved on there, it's there for good. So
Meredith, is this a family weekend for you guys? Sounds like Mac might enjoy this.
Yeah, he might, though. So would Aaron and I with the wine part. It's already hard sober, non-wine, chasing after a toddler / almost 4-year-old. So it would be fun to get away for the weekend. And I think that's the beauty of Clash Endurance. And it's really the sort of the future of endurance sports, but also triathlon, given that we're looking to put these in NASCAR speedways all over the country. And Andrew Starykowicz and I have been fortunate to be part of this genesis and sort of watch it grow, and it's slowly growing and prospering. And so it's going to attract so many communities, families of fun, and like Andre just went over, like a fun place to be. You get to stay in this environment where everything's sort of in one place, and it's a really cool thing, and the future for endurance sport, very much so.
Hey, thank all you guys for coming on. Always a pleasure to chat. Andre, great to meet you. Congratulations. I'm guessing that you have a security person to take care of that trophy, because that baby, that's something you don't want to let out of your sight. Don't let Bill get near that. He's going to take it out.
We're going to lock it in Bill's office.
That's great.
We'll wait till the wine festival afterwards, and I will claim another trophy for my trophy case like I did the Collins Cup.
Good man. I like it. All right. We had Andre and Andrew, and of course, Meredith. Thank you guys. I look forward to, hopefully we'll see you at Daytona, if not before, and then we'll move on. We'll be following the Clash Endurance USA circuit the entire year. Thanks you guys for taking time.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Bob.
Always a pleasure. Again, Breakfast with Bob, Not Quite Kona edition. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. See ya.